Charlie, how you doing? Everyone's rolling. Egan from Florida, how you doing? How is St. Pete? Hippie the Hills, how you doing? This is great. Everyone is here today. Everyone is piling in. Come on in, everybody. You're watching with your team, Charlie? Oh my. Hippie the Hills, how you doing? Christina and Venice, how are you doing? Yes. Well, oh, and it's Lisa Marie from North Carolina. How are you doing? Wow, everyone is here today. This is quite amazing. Uh, right on. Okay, guys. Well, we've made it. Oh, and Mod General Jen is in the house over in Periscope. If you guys are in Periscope and or YouTube land, make sure you give me a comment so I know that you guys are there, because I am restreaming to those platforms, and that's the only way that I know that you guys are watching. Lisa says she's catching me before work. Well, good on you, Lisa. I hope that my chat with you today makes your day at work all that much better. Right on. Wow. Okay. Yes. So if you are on YouTube or Periscope land, shoot me a message. That's how I can see you guys. All right. Lots to talk about today. Sorry, guys, I wasn't here yesterday. I had a meeting and it went quite well, but it's funny. I've gotten to the point now where if I don't come on live or I don't have you guys on my calendar, I feel bad. It's my day is not complete. Nicholas from Colorado, hello to you. Thank you for tuning in. Right on. All right. So lots to talk about today. I didn't really know where to start, but I guess we could talk about cancel culture. Can I talk about cancel culture without being canceled? Considering that, we are a small but mighty group, I think we're safe enough to talk about cancel culture. And I bet that you guys already know how I feel about cancel culture. I don't think it's too difficult to understand. I'm an idea guy. I like to come on here. I like to talk with you guys about ideas. In fact, a lot of the times when I'm working through my own thoughts, I like to do it with you guys. How are we able to find our way through the muck of life if we don't have an opportunity to discuss our feelings about what's going on around us, to get feedback? As you know, I made this analogy before, much like bats that use sonar to figure out where they are to maneuver through the cave. Us as human beings, we use communication, we use self-expression as an opportunity to get feedback from other people so we can maneuver socially, so we can signal who we would like to be around, whose values and ideas resonate with our values and ideas, so that we can get together, so that we can be safe, so we can build a civilization around ourselves. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that on any sort of level that has trust at its basic core is to be able to express ourselves freely. Without that, with our human sonar of self-expression to find out our place and who has our back and who we can trust and who we feel comfortable with, that's going to be quite impossible. And if we do not have a society with its bedrock built in trusting each other, well, then the social contract is null and void. It doesn't work. So obviously, I'm not thrilled about this idea of cancel culture. And regardless of all of that, there's going to be ideas, values, thoughts that you don't resonate with. And that's okay. That's just how it works. That's just and here's the best part of that. You know how many ideas that I have heard as a 20-year-old kid in North Carolina that I didn't vibe or gel with until later in life? Like, for instance, at 46 years old, I like to get up early and be productive, and I like to set aside the morning part of my day to be the most productive, so that no matter what I do the rest of the day, by anything after noon, anything after lunch is just icing on the cake. It's gravy. It's added. It's an added bonus. Lisa is watching this. Lisa has known me from North Carolina. Have you ever known me to get up at 5:30 in the morning or 5 a.m. to begin my day? You couldn't have bribed me to do that when I was in my 20s. Besides, I was too busy being up all night, going crazy, playing in rock and roll bands. And guess what? I would have found the idea of getting up at 5 in the morning completely offensive. It would have been completely offensive to my way of life and my values at 23 years old. And the idea that you are going to suggest to me that I should wake up at 5:30 in the morning, well, I don't like that idea. I'm offended by it. And therefore, your idea of me getting up at 5:30 in the morning needs to be canceled. I cannot walk into my day hungover with you telling me that I should be up at 5:30 in the morning to start my day. I'm offended. Now, at 46, getting up at 5:30, 5 a.m. in the morning is a wonderful idea. In fact, it's a great idea. It's one of the best ideas that I have ever come around to. And had that idea been canceled, I would have been continuing living through my adolescence, through my 40s. Have you ever dealt with a 46-year-old infant, a 46-year-old teenager? They are incredibly horrible to deal with because there is no maturity of experience and life lessons and the coming to terms with ideas that work with you, with your maturity level. You know, the world and nature has a way of dragging you with it, whether you want to go or not. And that goes the same with these young folks who have these crazy ideas that they need to cancel everything that they're not interested in. You're going to need those ideas because as you get older and as you change and as your thought process changes through your experiences in life, and if you're not changing your thought processes through experience of life, you are stunted as a person. Your growth has been stunted. And if you watch this show, I'm sure that you hear ideas that you don't agree with all the time. This is a show about growth. And in a show about growth, we need radical ideas. We need different ideas. We need to be able to challenge ourselves because as I get older, I want better ways to go through life, to be happy, to be successful, to gain the most out of every day. And if I don't have access to those ideas, then Blockhead, no need to reheat my coffee because Johnny's coming in hot. If I don't have access to those ideas, then how am I able to find out what works best for me? And what works best for me right now and in the future. And sometimes I have to give up what works best for me right now for what will work better for me in the future. And that's incredibly important. If we can't have an open forum of discussion, then how are we going to find the best ideas? Now, Charlie says, not always, Johnny. Well, what are you referring to, Charlie? And we'll have a discussion about it. Are you referring to not all ideas should be on the table? Why do you need so many things besides eating, earn money, and socializing? I don't understand the comment, but I'll take a stab at it, Charlie. What things do we need? We need happiness. We need well-being, and well-being is certainly outside of eating, earning money, and socializing. It is a combination. How about also to be able to create, to self-express? That is one of the issues in society. Now, if you create a culture that can cancel ideas if it's not accommodating to some people, or that you see the mob rushing to other people to shut them down, how are you supposed to feel good to create? Creating is about self-expression. It is a tool that human beings have to communicate and connect with each other. If we shut down that communication, if we shut down self-expression, then we're shutting down or cutting short our well-being. We cannot have that. I'm sorry. And in that self-expression, there are going to be things that you find offensive, like waking up at 5:30 in the morning when you're 23 years old. But guess what? Sometimes you come around to old or new ideas. And what you find offensive right now may not be offensive to you in 20 years as your experiences build and your cognitive processes change due to your experiences. We should not be cutting ourselves off at the knees. And here's the thing about the folks who are interested in this cancel culture. It's easy to get swept up in the mob's excitement. However, you have to ask yourself, what is the desired outcome for the mob? Because if their desired outcome is to shut things down that contribute to a healthy society, well, then we shouldn't be encouraging the mob. And it's easy to detach yourself from the mob. All you do is detach. How do you plug yourself into the mob? By turning on social media. I've had a wonderful, productive week, and it has to, and I understand that causation doesn't equal correlation, but I also haven't been on social media as much this week because I'm continuously trying to back off because, well, as we all know, social media is a giant nightmare at the moment. Free Candy over in Texas says, maybe off topic, but how should we navigate censorship? Things like bigotry. The idea of free speech is complicated. Know your enemies? Wow, Free Candy. Do you really want me to unpack that comment? So let me try to do that. And let me talk about this idea of free speech. In America, when it comes to ideas, you have to take the bad with the good. And free speech, capitalism, any sort of philosophy like skepticism or stoicism or Christianity or any idea that you're going to have, when executed, when implemented in real life, where the philosophical playground is, it's not in a cave pondering the questions of life. It's when you enact these ideas in real life, in real time, that you're going to see the experiment come to fruition. And with that, you are going to see the great aspects of ideas, and you will see the bad aspects of ideas. There is pluses and minuses to everything. And the negatives and the positives do not outweigh each other. They're positives and negatives. They weigh the same on the scales of justice. For each one, a positive, then you have a negative. This turns into a question of how you've trained yourself to think about the positives and negatives in life. If you are a pessimist, then it's obvious that you give more weight to the negative side of things. And if that's the case, then you are a pessimist. If you give more weight or focus on the positives, you are an optimist. These are philosophical stances in life. You get to choose. And anyone who is in self-development in any aspect will tell you that a filter of optimism is a better way to go than a filter of pessimism. When you have a filter of pessimism, then you're only going to see the negative. Why would you try anything? Why would you express yourself if you don't have your thoughts on the good that could come out of it? When I started doing this show in March, because of my optimism, I only explored the good things that were going to happen to it. My ideas would be sharpened. I would get better on camera. I would build a community and meet a lot of new people from all over the world. Some of the positives were unforeseen consequences in doing that. I don't like the word consequences because it seems like a negative word. But it was a side effect, a perk. But if you have a negative lens, a pessimistic lens, you're not going to want to try new things. You're not going to want to put your self-expression into the world. And let me state this also, Free Candy. You are an artist. You have drawn a beautiful picture of me, which I use in some of the ads for the little show. You are constantly putting your art, your creation, your self-expression onto your Instagram. Now, why are you doing that? Because you want to connect. You want people to see your work. This is self-expression. With it comes the bad. And by you placing that out of there, well, I'm sure that there's going to be people who will be critical of the work that you're doing. Or look at this, Free Candy. I could say that a lot of the art that you do is, we could say it's controversial, or we could say that it is provocative because it is erotic. You like drawing. How do we say it last week? I don't want to say obscene because that's not the word I want. You like to draw the delicates of the human body. And with that, you can imagine that there are going to be people who would be offended by the work that you do. But is that any reason to cancel you? Is that any reason for your work not to be seen when there's going to be many who do love it and people that you would inspire by putting your work out there, and for somebody else to see your drawings, think, wow, I can do that too. Or to reach out to you to tell you how inspired they were because of the work you have done? No, cancel culture. I don't care what the negatives are, because I'm not a pessimist. I am an optimist. I am grounded in cynicism. I am tempered in cynicism. But for most things in the world, I tend to err on the side of optimism. Charlie asked, am I pissed? No, I'm not pissed. I'm just happy. I'm in an excited, hopped up coffee mood. And it's Friday, Charlie. Free Candy says, I have a friend that won't even look, a bit disheartening. Well, some of the art that you have done is quite provocative, and some people will be, we'll use the word triggered, as I don't like to use some of these loony cult-like words, but some people could be triggered by the work that you've done, but that is no reason for you not to be able to express yourself. And this is why I like coming on here every day and talking with you guys, because it's an opportunity for me to battle test ideas, to put things together, to express myself in ways that, with the society as a whole, I have to be creative. I have to find unique ways to be able to invoke emotion and inspiration and thought to you guys. Why? Because that's the kind of content that I enjoy. This would be funny in the next Austin Power. I don't understand what that comment means. Are you referring to me as mini-me in Austin Power? I have a good sense of humor. I will take it. I have been called Austin Power before. And it's quite funny because it wasn't until I started wearing the glasses regularly. The glasses regularly started when COVID hit, because I'm stuck in my house and I don't leave anymore, and I'm in lockdown. And so it's, as a 46-year-old gentleman, my eyes are not what they used to be. And for me to actually have the best vision and be able to read and look out the window at the same time, I need these glasses. So therefore, I've become much more comfortable wearing them. Oh, Charlie loves to see when I'm in an emotional uproar. Well, I am in an emotional uproar because cancel culture has me in an emotional uproar. Listen, if you don't like something and you want it off the air, there is a constructive way to go about it. Everyone should have their say. You want to cancel me, then come to me and tell me what you don't like about the show, and let me tell you why I may disagree with that, and let's have a talk. Getting the mob to come after people because you don't like what their content is or how they express themselves, and in order for their own well-being, well, that's just rude. All right. So I also have a silly story that I wanted to tell you guys today. As you know, The Art of Charm is running. It is, come on, Johnny. It is pure for the ladies. Oh, the glasses. Right on, Charlie. Well, I think they just make me a little bit more intellectual looking. I can pull off a different, anyhow, like it was like things living in Shagadelic. I completely agree. What do you completely agree with, AJ? Is that about self-expression? So as you guys know, we are putting together a year-long mentorship program, and it's all about helping you define and bring out your X factor. So if you want to bring out the unique ability and traits and skills within yourself in order to crush it in business, love, and life, well, all you have to do is text me at any of our social platforms the word mentorship, and we'll get you out that information. Dono, AJ says, being constructive in the cancel culture era. Yeah, well, in order to be constructive, we have to be united in the idea that the cancel culture is a bad idea. And I stated my case. This is what it makes. It's one of the things that make America distinct and powerful, the ability to put all ideas on the table and work through them. Cancel culture stifles and limits and hinders that process. That's not good. And that's why I love self-development, because it's an opportunity to learn expression and to be able to put out ideas for an individual to pick up to make their life that much better, because you cannot continue living the way you were in your 20s when you're 40s, because nature has a way of dragging you with it, whether you want to go or not. And you can either go with the grain or against the grain. And I can tell you, who's tried to do it both ways, which one is much better. You don't have to grow up, but you definitely have to mature. Right on. Two Healing Minds, thank you for joining us today. So, as I was mentioning, to unlock your full potential, to bring out those qualities in you that bring out your X factor, text me on any of the apps. Mentorship, and AJ and myself will get to you. All right. Also, guys, if you enjoy what I had to speak about today and you want to learn more about how you can express yourself the better, your Adventure X says she refuses to grow up. I know she does, much like myself. This is why I talk to you guys in a puppet every morning. Also, if you want the best of the AOC stuff from our live training programs and online programs, check out the Communication Accelerator. It is in the link tree. Check it out. It is awesome. It's all the best from our online classes, live training programs, and expert guests over the last 15 years. It's rad. Check it out. Let's talk about it. JM says hormone replacement therapy works wonders for old age stuff. I am not up on the hormone replacement theory stuff. However, I gotta say, somebody has asked me if I had testosterone treatment or replacement therapy as I have gotten older, and I have not. I've been told that everyone over 40 should be checking. All men over 40 should be checking over those things. But I just know how I was when I was younger, and the fact that I can actually concentrate through a whole thought at 46 for the first time in my life, probably a good thing. I like where I'm at. I'm able to think clearly, as comparatively to when I had too much testosterone running through my pores in my 20s, where I couldn't think straight to do anything correctly. That's why I've been a bit suspect of hormone replacement, but perhaps you can give me the details on that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jam. All right, guys, I gotta go. I have a million things to do today. It is the weekend. You guys are awesome. I hope you had a good, fun time today. And I will see you guys Monday. But remember, Jose just popped on. Buddy, it is good to see you. We're going to have to do a chat on one of these someday. I love your stuff. All right, guys, have a good weekend. Love you all. Let's chat soon. See you guys.